letting my neighbor think I was flirting with him when I was actually talking to my cat. So I've officially achieved a level of embarrassment that should qualify me for witness protection. I, 28F, moved into a new apartment last month, and my next door neighbor, let's call him Luke, is inconveniently attractive. Like, makes taking out the trash look cinematic attractive. The problem is, I'm socially awkward, catastrophically single, and my only reliable companion is my cat, Mr. Pickles, who has the emotional intelligence of a damp sponge. This all started last week, when Mr. Pickles got into his dramatic at 3 a.m. mode, the one where he yells at imaginary ghosts. So I did what I always do. I started talking to him like he's a tiny judgmental roommate. Oh, you think you're hot stuff, huh? You strut around like you own the place, but you're just a cute little man with trust issues. Come here, handsome. You know you love me. Yeah, I said that, loudly. The next morning, I ran into Luke in the hallway. He smiled, that devastatingly polite smile that says, I heard everything you said through paper-thin walls. Rough night? He asked. Yeah, I stammered. Just talking to someone. Sounded like it, he said with that smirk that should be illegal before coffee. I wanted the floor to open and consume me. A few days later, I was doing laundry while on the phone with my friend Tina. I was joking about Mr. Pickles again, saying how he's the only man in my life who listens. I didn't realize Luke was right behind me, loading his laundry. He snorted. I froze. He said, Glad to know you've got high standards. I turned around so fast I almost threw my phone into the dryer. He winked and walked off, leaving me with a pile of socks and existential dread. Then came the ultimate disaster. During a fire alarm test, I tried to calm Mr. Pickles down, whispering, Don't worry, baby, Mommy's got you. You're safe with me. Guess who was outside watering his plants directly below my window? Yup, Luke. We made eye contact. He waved. I died internally. That evening, he showed up at my door and holding a small potted plant. Hey, he said, thought I'd bring you this. To replace the dignity you lost this week. I laughed nervously. He added, You talk to your cat a lot, huh? You heard that? You might say I'm familiar with your work. I joked. Well, he's emotionally unavailable, but at least he doesn't ghost me. He laughed and said, Touché. A few days later, I found a note on my door. Mr. Pickles seems lucky to have you. Dinner sometime? It was signed, Your Noisy Neighbor. I panicked, texted Tina, and she immediately wrote back, You have to go. This is the rom-com origin story of the century. So, I went. We met at a small Thai restaurant nearby. It was awkward at first, mostly because the first thing he said was, So, how's the little man doing? I blinked. Who? Mr. Pickles. The other guy. The waiter gave us a look like I was juggling boyfriends. We laughed it off and started talking about work, hobbies, music. Turns out he's actually funny and kind. The chemistry was ridiculous. Then, halfway through dinner, my phone buzzed. I ignored it, buzzed again, and again. Luke said, You can check it if you need to. I opened it. A text from my pet camera app. Alert. Motion detected in living room. Attached was a photo of Mr. Pickles standing on the counter, knocking over a vase. I groaned. My cat's trying to ruin my life. Luke leaned closer. Or maybe he's jealous. When we got back, he walked me to my door. I was unlocking it when Mr. Pickles started meowing like a tiny opera singer. Luke laughed and said, Guess he knows I'm the competition. And then, because apparently I have 0 brain cells, I blurted out, Don't worry, he's just possessive. He gets that from me. There was a pause. Then he smirked. Noted. I basically short-circuited. Now, every time I see him, he asks, How's my rival doing? Or, Tell Mr. Pickles I said hi, but not too nicely. Yesterday, he even dropped by with a toy mouse for the little man. On the gift tag, he wrote, From Luke. The other handsome guy, Mr. Pickles, immediately ignored the toy and sat in the box instead. I think that's his way of saying, You can have this one. TLDR. Talked to my cat through thin walls using phrases like handsome and come here, baby. Neighbor overheard, thought I was flirting with him, and started teasing me. Now we've gone on a date, my cat's jealous, and I'm one bad comment away from living in a full-blown romantic comedy.
I found a hidden room in my husband's office. What I discovered inside destroyed me. I, 32F, have been married to my husband, Ethan, 35M, for 7 years. He's a quiet, organized man. The kind of person who never leaves his coffee mug out of place and always triple checks the locks before bed. We've had what I thought was a stable marriage. No huge fights, no secrets, or so I believed. Ethan works as a financial consultant, and he has his own office downtown. I've only been there twice. Once when he first opened it, and once to drop off lunch a few years ago. He always told me it was boring, full of paperwork and clients, so I never questioned it. Until 3 weeks ago. That day, Ethan came home looking shaken. He said someone had broken into his office, but nothing was stolen. He brushed it off saying, just some kids messing around. But something about his tone felt off. His eyes wouldn't meet mine. Later that night he fell asleep early. I went to grab his jacket to hang it up and noticed a small brass key in his pocket. It looked old-fashioned, not like a modern office key. I asked him the next morning what it was for. He froze, then smiled and said, "Oh, it's for an old filing cabinet my landlord left. Nothing interesting, but I knew that wasn't true." Ethan never forgets anything. A few days later, I drove to his office during my lunch break. I knew his schedule. He'd be out meeting clients until 3 p.m. His building was quiet, almost eerie. When I walked in, his secretary wasn't there. I felt like I was trespassing, but my gut told me to keep going. I opened his office door. Everything looked normal, perfectly organized, as always. Then I saw it. Behind a tall bookshelf, slightly ajar, was a narrow wooden door. Something I swear hadn't been there before. My hands were shaking as I used the brass key. It clicked. The door creaked open, revealing a hidden room barely big enough to stand in. Inside, there was a single desk, a dim lamp, and dozens of photo frames hanging on the wall. Every single one of them was of me, but not recent photos. Old ones, from before we met, from my college years, from social media accounts I had deleted years ago. Some looked like they were taken without me knowing. There were printed emails, screenshots of text messages, even childhood photos of me with my parents. And in the middle of the wall, a photo of us on our wedding day. Under it, written in marker, "The day I made sure she'll never leave me again." I felt my chest tighten. My hands went numb. On the desk there was a notebook. I opened it, page after page of Ethan's handwriting. It wasn't financial notes. It was a journal about me. Entries like, "She smiled at the cashier today. I need to remind her who she belongs to. I hid her old friend requests. She doesn't need anyone else. She said she missed her dad. Maybe it's time to make her forget him completely." I wanted to throw up. Then I heard footsteps. I barely had time to close the door when Ethan's voice echoed from the hallway. "Babe, what are you doing here?" I froze. My mind screamed lie. I came to surprise you with lunch," I said, holding up the takeout bag I'd grabbed on the way. "Thank God." He smiled faintly, but his eyes darted toward the bookshelf. "You didn't move anything, did you?" I shook my head. My voice cracked when I said, "No, of course not." He walked up, kissed my forehead, and whispered, "You shouldn't be here without me." I swear I felt a chill crawl down my spine. That night I couldn't sleep. He was calm, humming while brushing his teeth like nothing happened. But I knew he knew. When he fell asleep, I packed a small bag, grabbed my passport, and left. I drove 4 hours to my sister's place. The next morning, I called my friend who's a lawyer and told her everything. She told me to contact the police, and I did. They searched the office. The secret room was there, but everything was gone. Every photo, every note, every trace of what I'd seen. The officers looked skeptical. They said, maybe it was just old stuff he stored away. No one believed me, not even my sister. She said I sounded paranoid. But I know what I saw. For a week, Ethan kept calling and texting me, saying he just wanted to talk. Then one day I got a message from an unknown number. It was a photo. A photo of me sitting in my sister's kitchen, the same shirt I was wearing right that moment. The caption said, "You can't hide from me. You're my story now." I dropped my phone and screamed. We changed locations again. I deleted all my social media, changed my number. It's been 6 months. I haven't seen him since. But sometimes I still feel like someone's watching me. Every few weeks I get a blank envelope in the mail. Inside, there's only a photo of me from behind, taken recently. The last one was from yesterday. It was me, standing in line at the grocery store, and behind me, blurred in the photo, was Ethan. TL:*DR. Found a hidden room in my husband's office filled with pee.
TIFU by accidentally sending my boss a very unprofessional message meant for my best friend. Okay, so this happened yesterday, and I'm still experiencing full body embarrassment every time I think about it. I, 27F, work as an assistant in a marketing company. My boss, let's call him Mark, is in his mid-30s. Smart, polite, way too composed for a human being, and unfortunately, the type of person who makes even Excel spreadsheets look attractive. Anyway, we've been working on this huge campaign for weeks, and yesterday, we finally had a big client presentation. Everything went well, I didn't trip, the projector worked, and I didn't accidentally show the wrong PowerPoint, which has happened before. After the meeting, Mark told me, "Great work today, really proud of your progress." I smiled, said thanks, and walked back to my desk, pretending I wasn't melting inside like a microwaved marshmallow. Later that evening, I was texting my best friend, Nina, about how stressful the week had been. I typed, "If Mark says good job one more time with that stupid smirk, I swear I'm gonna throw my laptop at him. Or myself into his arms. Whichever comes first." Then I added a few emojis that I deeply regret mentioning and hit send. Except, it wasn't Nina's chat. It was Mark's. I didn't even realize it at first. I just tossed my phone on the couch and went to make tea, feeling proud of myself for finally venting. When I came back, I had 3 notifications. The first was from Mark. I assume this wasn't meant for me. The second, but I appreciate the enthusiasm. The third, "See you at 9 a.m. Try not to throw any laptops." I wanted to die. I screamed into a pillow for a full minute, then sent the most panicked apology in history. Something like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry that was for my friend. Please ignore everything I ever said. Please fire me immediately. Goodbye." He didn't reply. That night, I seriously considered quitting, changing my name, and moving to a remote island where Wi-Fi doesn't exist. The next morning, I arrived early, hoping to avoid him. But of course, Mark walks in right as I'm pretending to organize paper clips like my life depends on it. He smiles, that same smirk, which, in this context, feels like a war crime, and says, "Good morning. Laptop still safe? I think I made a noise only dogs could hear." Then, in the most professional tone imaginable, he adds, "Don't worry. Happens to the best of us. But maybe double check your recipients next time." I nodded so fast I almost gave myself whiplash. For the rest of the day, I avoided eye contact like he was the sun and I was a vampire. Every time he said "good job," my brain replayed the message, the emojis, the horror. At one point, I swear I saw him typing something on Slack, then stopping, probably because he realized anything he wrote could be used against him in the court of HR. Later that evening, Nina texted me, "So, how's your career in marketing and romance going?" I sent her 47 middle finger emojis. She replied, "Don't worry, he totally laughed about it. He probably found it flattering, and here's the worst part. I think she's right. Because as I was leaving the office today, Mark walked past me, smiled, and said, "Try not to throw yourself into anything dangerous," then winked. So now I'm living in constant fear that every Zoom meeting will turn into my emotional autopsy. HR hasn't called yet, and Mark seems to be handling it with humor, but I will never trust the recent chats list again. TLDR, accidentally sent my boss a text meant for my best friend, basically thirsting over him. He responded with calm professionalism and dangerous levels of teasing. I will now evaporate into pure humiliation.
TIFU, by accidentally sending my gym trainer the wrong voice note. So I, 26F, started going to the gym 3 months ago. I'm not the sporty type. I joined mostly because my best friend dragged me in and said, "You'll thank me when your jeans start crying for mercy." Anyway, my personal trainer, let's call him Ethan, is one of those annoyingly perfect people. The kind of guy who says, "Just 10 more reps," with a smile like he isn't trying to murder you. Tall, calm, ridiculously patient, and for some reason, always smells like expensive laundry detergent and bad decisions. Yesterday, I was exhausted after a killer leg day. Ethan texted me asking how my recovery was going. I wanted to send a quick voice message saying something like, "My legs hate you, but I'll survive. See you tomorrow," except I accidentally sent a different voice note, the one I'd recorded earlier for my best friend, complaining about how Ethan's arms should be illegal and how I swear he knows what he's doing when he adjusts my posture. Yeah, that one. I realized the mistake 5 seconds too late. You know that moment when your soul physically leaves your body? That was me, standing in my kitchen, staring at the screen, whispering, "No, no, 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 no." I deleted it immediately, but not before I saw the 2 gray check marks. He heard it. For the next hour, I didn't move, didn't breathe, didn't blink. Then a new message popped up from Ethan. "Glad to know my training methods are motivating. I wanted the earth to swallow me whole. Today, I went back to the gym, trying to act normal. He greeted me like always, professional, calm, polite, except he definitely smirked more than usual. When I started squats, he walked past and said, "Careful with your form. Wouldn't want to make you uncomfortable." Then winked. I almost dropped the barbell on my foot. Anyway, now I'm praying for a freak treadmill accident to erase me from existence. My best friend thinks it's the most romantic start ever. I think it's the most embarrassing moment of my adult life. TLDR, accidentally sent my trainer a voice note thirsting over him. He definitely heard it. Now every workout feels like a slow-motion rom-com directed by Satan.